Hi everybody, welcome to Open Cultural Centre's first webinar, Culture Without Borders. And thank you everybody for joining. I want to say welcome to all our speakers, but also welcome to everybody attending. We're super happy to bring everybody together for this event, and we hope you enjoy it and you learn about our work and about our organization. This event, as you can probably imagine, is like it's a product of circumstances, because just like everybody else, we have been affected by COVID and all the restrictions and regulations and everything to do with the lockdowns and pandemic, etc. So we decided to host a webinar. We thought it would be a good way of connecting with our community and bringing people together when we can't host any events anymore in our centers, and we can't do all the activities we would usually do, which all involve like big social gatherings and everybody being together in one room. So yeah, that's why we're doing the webinar. And it is our first webinar. I would like to apologize in advance if there's any technical issues. We are hosting this event from different places, so there might be some internet connection problems, but hopefully it would all be fine. And yeah, if it goes well, maybe we will host future events online as well, but we'll see how it goes. Schedule on the presentation. So first of all, I'm going to give a little bit of context about the refugee crisis. And then we will hear from the director of OCC, Didak, who is currently in Greece. And we're also going to be hearing from many team members in Greece about the projects happening there. And then we'll hear also from people in Barcelona, my colleagues here. And we'll finish the webinar with a Q&A. So maybe we've already got some questions that we collected from our Instagram followers, but if you have more questions, then you can add them in the chat section of the Google Meet. So yeah, welcome everybody. I guess we have quite a few people here now. And I'm gonna begin with this little introduction basically about the refugee crisis, to give you some context. I know most people who are at this event and who are attending now probably already know about the refugee crisis, but because it's the context in which Open Cultural Centre was established first of all in 2016, so I thought I would give a bit of information about it. And yeah, so people have been traveling around the world and changing countries and fleeing from persecution since before the Middle Ages. It's not something new, but because of different rules being established on borders of countries, countries establishing their national borders, people were required to provide their identification, and that is why we now have this notion of refugee and the notion that we have today. And it was in 1950 when the United Nations Refugee Agency was established, as a result of so many people becoming refugees after the Second World War, and that the term refugee acquired this definition. So I'll put it up on the screen now. So a refugee is someone who is unable or unwilling to return to their country of origin owing to a well-founded fear of being persecuted for reasons of race, religion, nationality, membership of a particular social group, or political opinion. And so the refugee crisis in the world today is not at all only focused in Europe, it's all over the world. In fact, 85% of people who are displaced are in developing countries, but OCC's work is focused in Europe, so that's why I want to talk about the refugee crisis that's impacted Europe over the last 5 years or so. And yeah, basically, essentially, there were different conflicts going on in the Middle East and in North Africa, which led the number of people traveling to Europe to seek asylum to rise in 2015, and over 1 million people traveled to Europe to seek asylum. And European countries struggled to cope with this influx of people, and also struggled to come up with decisions in terms of how to resettle these people and where, and it became a crisis, the one that is still happening today, and also became a bureaucratic disaster, really, because it was impossible to process all of the different asylum applications. So that is especially a huge impact on the Mediterranean countries like Italy, and especially Greece, where OCC works, because lots of people travel directly to Greece from Turkey. Yeah, and the people who make these journeys are often portrayed to be mainly men, but there's also many women and children who are refugees, and they leave their lives behind in the hope of finding a better future in another country in Europe. And when if they make it to Europe, then they are often led to refugee camps that have very bad conditions, and also they have to go through the process of applying for asylum, which can take years. And that is the scale of the humanitarian crisis. These days in the media, it's often completely dismissed, or it only features in mainstream media when there's loss of life and there's terrible stories of people losing their lives when they're crossing the Mediterranean. And this is also allowed by the Western European countries, who are isolated. They're further away, so they can distance themselves from this issue. And yes, that is why it's so important that organizations like OCC are doing this work to support the vulnerable people who are arriving in Europe. Hello, Ahmed. That's our Syrian, our Arabic teacher joining. And yes, that's why the work that we are doing is so important, and the work of other organizations, NGOs, individuals. That's why it's so important. And I would like to hand over the microphone through the screen to the director of OCC, Didak, who is currently in Greece.
Remove the mute. Hi there. So yeah, thanks Charlotte for this brief context about this situation. And yeah, and hello to all as well. I see some faces that I've met you before. So I hope you are all well in the situation now. So yeah, we'll talk for 10 minutes about the history of OCC. I will be until the end, so also if you have any questions, I think at the end of the talk there's like a brief time allocated as well for those questions and answers. So, but yeah, feel free to interrupt me as well in my talk if you have any query. Yeah, so as some of you know already, Open Cultural Center is an association that is quite young. It's only not even 5 years, and we are both based in Spain and in Greece, and at the same time it's like two different legal bodies, but we are the same people. So the way it started OCC, it was back in 16, and it was mainly a volunteering initiative that was a bit a response to all those kind of news that was in the media about the refugee situation in Greece, and a bit also of the inactivity, of the European Union in response to these migration flows, that they were unexpected, but the European Union didn't manage or failed to manage. So at that time, it was March of 2016, where were around 5-8 volunteers that met in Idomeni. I'm sure that many of you know Idomeni already. Idomeni was, for those who maybe are not so much familiarized with Idomeni, it's a region in the North Greece, which mainly was a potato fields, like a farmer's field. It was nothing. It was like grass. And the specific or the particular thing is that it was in the border. So many people were coming through Turkey by sea or by land to Greece, and then we're doing a route which was passing by Idomeni. And at some point, so maybe around 1 million people passed by this border in Idomeni, and at some point this border closed. So the people start accumulating in this area in Idomeni, and to the point of being around 15,000 people. So the photography was quite impressive, no? As a volunteer, when you arrive there from your nice houses or flats in Spain or whatever, and you arrive there and you see 15,000 people, in which half of them are children, and they were most of them in tents as well, like this kind of Quechua tents, the ones that you use when you go for a concert or you go for a weekend. But they were living like families inside and for long, and so it was quite traumatic that moment. And yeah, so many volunteers we met there for different reasons, and we just have this shared idea of providing a children a safe space, to a place where also youth could develop or have some education, entertainment, also a space for the community which they could relate somehow, no? Because at that time, when in this kind of March 16, somehow there were organizations thinking about the shelter or about medicines or about food, but there were not many that were thinking about education or children protection or a safe space. So we gathered all the resources together from different people, and we started constructing like one classroom, putting solar panels, putting different materials and resources so we could run some activities, no? One of the most important steps was going around the camp to find teachers from the community, because in 15,000 people you could find all the different job professions that exist, no? It was like a town. So there were like lots of teachers. So we found around a list of 40 teachers in which we facilitated the spaces for them to run the activities. And then the international community, us as volunteers, we were maybe teaching German or advanced English and making all the logistics and coordination. So that's more or less how it started. In 1 week of all this, there were like around 200 children coming to the spaces after 1-2 weeks, and around 80 adults. So it was somehow a success at that time, no? And yeah, that's how we started. Of course, this was self-organized. We were not registered. We just were doing our best, improvising, not covered by any kind of legislation or insurances. So everything was quite done on the go, no? It was like a very emergency situation, and there was no time for going through all this bureaucracy. But at some point, the camp closed. So the Greek government sent lots of buses that they had this title of crazy holidays in the buses, and they took mainly all refugees, migrants, and distributed through little camps, because 15,000 was not manageable, but 1,000, 2,000, yes. So they put it in different camps, but this time the camps were official camps. So that means that the authority was the army or some kind of public authority, and to be able to work inside, you had to be registered, because in Idomeni it was like a free entrance. It was like a mountain, like a farmer's field. So in this case, for the other camps, we had to register. So it was at that time when we gathered all together that we're participating, and we decided to register as an association in Greece and also in Barcelona. and we went to work to different camps. One was Herso, that it was also in the north of Greece, and the other one it was more or less near Athens in Sunio. And then we continued working in camps for some months more until 2017, in which somehow we were fed up with the situation, because let's say that the camps were mainly tents at that time. Still now it's tents or containers. But yeah, we were considering the camps as an emergency solution. No, we understand that such migration flows are difficult to manage and to provide shelter suddenly, and that a camp could be like an emergency solution for a few weeks until they could have like some kind of proper standards and shelter. But after that year, still this system, no, that was supposed to be like an emergency system, it was like the normal system, no, it was normalizing. So the camps, people were staying in the camps 2 years, shelter was not being improved. So somehow we did not agree with the system of the camps, and we didn't want to be really part of the camps. So we moved outside as well. So that's why we started, in part, there's other reasons, no, but that's one of the main reasons of why we started working outside the camps. So we started working in the town just to work integration and inclusion, as opposed to work more on an emergency, because there was no more emergency. No, now it's even 4 years or 5 years after, and still you see many scenarios that are like emergency scenarios when it shouldn't be. No, emergency has passed. No, halas, it's already 5 years. So I think that systems need to change. So yeah, that's what we're doing now in Barcelona. What we try, we're putting our drop on this very complex phenomena of migration, and both sides, Barcelona and Greece, we're trying to work this in inclusion, integration, and through different projects that my colleagues, I think they will present very soon. And yeah, I'm not sure if I've already filled up the 15 minutes, if it's short or...
That's perfect. Thank you, Didac.
But yeah, there's if you want to know more about the beginnings, there's a video on the website. If you put Idomeni Cultural Center in Google, I'm sure you will find some videos, and with some nice songs also in the background. So yeah, I recommend watching some of the videos, and you can have an impression of what was the spirit of the start, and you can compare it to now as well.
Super. We'll try and find the link to that and put it in the chat. Thank you, Didac. Yeah, now we will move on to Maria Serra, who is a project manager in Greece, and also Sophia, another project manager. And yeah, we're going to hear about the projects that they have running in Polykastro.
Yes. Hello everyone. I'm happy to see some face, yeah, for a long time don't see. But hello everyone. I explain a bit OCC Greece, also Sophia and Gaylan, okay, help me and explain also more things, okay. Okay, now yeah, how did I explain? OCC Greek now is working in the area of Polykastro and the towns close by. This year we have been working with a community of 200 refugees, more or less. We live in the area around, okay, in house, hotels, but also with people coming from the camp of Niakabala. For us, one of the difficulties that the refugees have is the mobility. That is why at OCC we promote two transportation systems. Yes, a bus that takes the participants to and from their house and the camp, okay, and a free bike rental service that all the people, local and international, can use. Every year, there are many people arriving in the area, in the camp, in the house of Polykastro and Axiopoli. This means that there is a big need to integrate these people in the local community. At OCC, we are working with a non-formal education. Our goal is that using education, sports, art, and culture and it's create a space where refugees can develop, explain their options for the future, and at the same time boost their community spirit by getting closer to the Greek community in the area. For all of these things, we have a team of 20 volunteers, yes, the Greek, internationals, and refugees that work together every day to achieve our goal, yes. In all of course, we have teachers, locals and internationals and translators in order to have the maximum results. This is important also. Our NGO is registered in the Greek Ministry of Migration since 2016. Okay. Yeah, and now I think, Sofia, you can explain better our activities and concrete more and explain.
Hello, everyone. So at OCC in Greece, we have different activities. One of them is language courses, like Maria said before. So basically what we do, we are dividing minors, youngsters and adults according to their age and in groups. And then we're doing language courses, mostly English. But since last year, we started also doing Greek. But it's not only that. From my experience, what I saw in the last months also, many of our volunteers in different countries of Europe, they're also doing informally language courses from other languages like Spanish or French. So it's not only English and Greek. However, these two languages we think that are the most important for the better integration of the people in the local community, but also in the European community. Another project that we have is called Kindergarten. This project we are implementing in collaboration with the organization that is called RTI, Refugee Trauma Initiative. It is a project where we have created a space that really young kids, they come with their mothers and they have some hours per day in the morning where they are doing recreational activities with local and international volunteers. Then there is also a project, a space, let's say, that is called Cafeteria. This is a space, a free space for people that they can just come in their free time, sit down and talk between them. Right now it's not really functioning because of COVID, but it is normal times. In OCC, we think that this space is really important because it provides, in an informal way, a free space for people to exchange ideas and to come closer with one another. Also, this space is open for the local community, so for Greek people, because always the point is to integrate migrants and refugees in the local community as well. Then there is another project that is called Women's Space. This project is concentrated on women. So what happens is that women of different ages, they come and they have a space that they can be alone with other women without their kids, because what we do is that at that time, because usually mothers, they are always with their kids, we have volunteers being kids with minors, and then the mothers, the women, they have free space to do activities like gymnastics, art, crafts, different kind of things how they want. The bike space is a project that right now we are running it in Polykastro, in the town where it's also all of our premises. However, in the upcoming months, we're going to open one facility in the camp of Nea Kavala. What is the bike space? It is a free bike rental service for people coming from the camp, but also people coming from the area all around, local and international people. And basically we have a platform where they register and they're using a bike for free in order to move around. There are some other projects, some other services that we also provide for the community, like the legal clinic, the CV workshop. Some of them, they're not currently active because of COVID. Some others, they are. I think one of the most important workshops that OCC is providing is the CV workshop. It's a project that the volunteers are doing, and it's preparing pretty well people from the community in order to be ready for a job interview, to apply for a job, and later on to pass by from an interview and get the job. What we have seen is that it's very, very effective, and actually many people who take part in this project, they actually get the job in the end. I don't know if there is something else. Maria?
No, I think the more or less is like this. Maybe also Galen can explain better because, yeah, it's a long time with us, Galen. And you can explain also the change in these years. Galen?
Hello, guys. Hello, guys. I will just explain. Already, Maria and Sofia explained everything, but I just want to explain in general. As my experience here for 3 years with OCC, like about the children, we have different ages for the children. We are working, it depends on the moment. Before we were working like 2 hours per the day. Now we changed it like to 3 hours per day. And for the adults also, we have different kind of class, and we have German, after they explain everything. German, Greek, English, and Spanish we had it. But because before we had German volunteer and different kind of in different country we had the volunteer, but now because we stopped it for German. And also for the bike project, before we were sharing with talking to Ocean, they were in the camp, and it was different location. The people, refugees from the camp and from Polykastro and from Axiopoli is 3 islands near to each other. They use it for going to the market, and also for coming to the study in OCC. All the students in the morning, they take the bikes to come there, and it was so useful because we didn't have the bus for them. We had just like the small car or van. But thank you, now we have a big bus like to moving the people from the camp to here, and it's so useful for that. And at the moment, the bike project, as I am in supervisor for the bike project, now we have one location because drop since one time they stopped it, and now it's just in Axiopoli and Polykastro, but the location in Polykastro. But as soon possible, we will get another location in the camp, and the people can use it from the camp to different locations, from the camp to Polykastro, Polykastro to the camp. It's everything, as I said, very short thing. And if you have any question in general about anything, I'm here to answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Galen. Galen is a volunteer, is volunteering for us for a lot of time. And he has also been a volunteer in a project that is called European Solidarity Corps. Some of you actually were part of it or are currently part of it. It's a very, very important project for OCC, both Greece and Spain, I think, because basically OCC is working with the help of volunteers. And it is a project where we can host volunteers and their whole experience is funded by the European Union. It's a very important project, and I think without the volunteers, really this vision that Didak and some other people in the beginning had would be much more difficult. So they make our lives and the lives of many people in the local community much, much better.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Maria and Sophia, and thank you, Gaylan, as well. That was really great hearing from all of you about the activities in Greece. I'm sure everybody else enjoyed hearing about it as well. I'm just going to put the link to the video that Didak mentioned before, so you guys can have access to that. And yeah, really interesting what Sophia said just now about the European Solidarity Corps. I didn't actually introduce myself at the beginning, but I'm also an ESC volunteer from the UK, and I've been here since August doing a volunteering project here. And I think we will hear more about it now, because we're going to hear from the team in Barcelona, Maria, and also Michaela, who is representing MigraCode, one of our projects, and Ali, who is another European Solidarity Corps volunteer. Yes. Okay.
I'm really sorry, we have some technical issues. Okay, hello everyone. I'm really sorry for technical issues, and first of all wanted to say thank you for organizing this event, webinar, because I feel like we were missing something, sense of community when we can't organize anything. So it's really nice to have all of you here, and thank you so much, guys, who are participating in terms of organizing all this webinar. Well, we are in Barcelona, and Charlotte is in Barcelona as well. So I want to say hello to everyone from Polykastro, Greece. Some of you we may have met, yeah, especially the Didak. He looks different, but yeah, yeah, he doesn't look like himself recently, but he looks much better and younger in Polykastro. So, well, just to make it more informal, well, I work in OCC Barcelona, as mainly all of you may know, and we carry out projects towards social inclusion and integration of refugees and migrants. Well, basically, I'm a migrant myself from Ukraine, so I'm super familiar with all hard integration in new country. So I feel like OCC has helped me to meet new friends, and also I've tried to support other people as me. So first of all, we carry lots of projects in terms of raising awareness. So we do have a book, Amigo Mio, which was written by refugee kids in Greece. We are very familiar with this book. We have lots of them, and we try to use these books to raise awareness through different workshops in schools, in youth centers, in youth organizations. Also, we do have a different workshop, as I said, in a project called Escola Refugee, which is like basically based for Catalan area. And we do organize intercultural events. Well, before COVID, at the moment we do organize first webinar, which is kind of important for us as well in terms of intercultural diversity. Well, a labor insertion, which is really important, and I feel like in Spain and in Greece it's a high and like really difficult and important topic. And through MigraCode project, mainly we do involve migrants and refugees, and we support them in terms of getting new skills and consequently conversion. This is what Michaela will tell you later on. We do provide language classes as well, as Sophia mentioned in OCC Polykastro. We do have a different culture, a different structure. So our main objective was to teach, provide skills and provide lessons for newly arrived or migrants or refugees to Catalan communities, or Spain in general. And basically, it's providing them Catalan and Spanish classes, and also we would give the opportunity to refugees and migrants to teach their native language. So we do have currently as well teachers from Iran and our Arabic teacher who are native speakers and who have this opportunity to get an experience and skills. We also do teach minors, but it's totally different projects. We do teach minors from Morocco, mainly Spanish, Catalan, and sometimes English, but we also provide them different educational and cultural activities. For the moment, everything is in online regime, so we were really sad last week to let go our minors, and they, well, in terms of to stay in the center, but we do carry it online. And Sophia mentioned ESC project, ESC volunteering, EVS, high priority, however it's called, but I feel like the main objective and main target group and main people who support OCC in both countries are volunteers, and with their desire and with their skills we are progressing and carrying out our activities. So I feel like ESC and European Commission that gives us money through such grants helps us, but also gives us an opportunity to give some benefits to people, especially now that we can give benefits to refugees and migrants and people with cultural differences, not just from the EU countries, but also to bring something new into our organizational activities. And we do lots of Erasmus projects also. Mainly it's collaboration and mainly it's partnership. But for example, MigraCode is also Erasmus project, which means first it was funded and approved by the European Commission. So basically at the moment, and we are participating in several EU projects where we're partners, but also where we're applicants, even though we started applying for European grants just in 2018. For now, we've got approved more than 8 projects where we're applicants. Especially we have lots of experience in volunteering projects, but now we're kind of trying to progress and get more experience in other areas. Whereas now we have a 36 months project within EU money as well, but we are working there on changing migration policies, which is kind of very interesting and something new, and which we're trying to go on with, where we would interview several different categories of people, and we would try to change migration policies that we have at the moment, depending on different countries. But yeah, I think so far, and like short up, it's everything what I wanted to say. But there is more smaller projects like tutoring, mentorship, and I could see there is one of our volunteers, Nathan, who supports our ESC volunteers as well. So there is a huge network and lots of other small projects that I didn't mention, internships, etc., that we are carrying out, but they're not so visible, let's say. Thank you so much. And I feel like, yeah, Ale would be nice to hear his experience, because he's also a migrant student, he's an ESC volunteer, and it's like a huge bridge for us and connection between all the projects we carry.
Wait, is my sound on? Yes. Yes, we'll pass over to Michaela first. She's gonna talk about MigraCode, and then we will hear from Ali.
Okay, everyone can hear me? Okay, I just have, I'm gonna share my screen with you guys. If I can do it correctly. Hang on a second. Okay.
It's working.
Okay, perfect. So yes, my name is Michaela, and I am the communication manager at MigraCode. I'm from the US, and I've been working with MigraCode since February, I believe. So MigraCode just recently celebrated its 1-year anniversary. The first group of students started in October of last year, so very exciting. Kind of just, this is a time to recap everything that we've managed to accomplish over the past year. So we've had 2 cohorts of students graduate, the October group and then 2 groups from the March class. So very exciting to have all that happening. And we're gonna first start with Code Women, which was a program that just launched in August. And basically it's MigraCode's way of trying to address the gender and the pay gap in the tech world. So as you can imagine, the disparity, or there's a disparity of men and women in technology, and that gap is even larger when you look at the percentage of migrant women or non-white women who are working in the tech sector. And then also, obviously, there's the issue of the pay gap. It's in every industry across the world. So we're trying to create a space where women can meet together, they can discuss what they've been learning in the class, they can discuss other issues that they're having, they can just kind of create and collaborate together. And they're currently working on a project. I believe the women are building a website that is supposed to host the Code Women activities. And then there's also Code Buddies, which we've launched, which is a one-on-one mentoring program. So it pairs up one female microcode student with a professional in the coding or developing world, and then they have a one-on-one mentorship happening. And then next, this is really big, is the whole point of microcode and labor integration, which Maria already talked about, is to get migrants into the workforce and to create more jobs that they can have. So with the groups that have graduated, we have had 5 or actually 6 students now that have been hired by WebHelp. WebHelp hired 5 of these students for various clients that they contract with. And then another student who I believe is working directly for WebHelp. So it's very exciting that we're actually seeing that this program and the education that they're receiving is actually something that is useful in real life. And then additionally, aside from the company hires, a lot of students from the March group have already started freelancing, or they've kind of created their own design studios, and they've actually been partnering with other microcode students to do freelance work and to start their own programming companies, which is really exciting, and it's a great initiative from them. And then I just want to highlight some of the student projects that they have completed. So at the end of every microcode course, the students they form small groups and they deliver a final project. So it can be an app or a website, whatever they want. They have free reign on that. But 2 that really stood out to me personally was Riders, which is a tax app for delivery riders. So this was created by some students who deliver for Glovo. And so they looked at their own, what issues they face and what their fellow delivery riders face. And so this app is supposed to help simplify the tax process for independent contractors. And then this next one was Vince's pet project was partnering with University of Utrecht to help create a website for social work students to reach out to people with mental illnesses and disabilities to, it's kind of a one-on-one mentoring program, I believe, as well. And then, so coming up, we have a new course that's set to start in January, but applications, I don't believe we're taking them yet, so I don't know about how many students that will be. A little bit more firm is the documentary. Microcode is the subject of an upcoming documentary from Oxo Productions. I actually met the girl here who's doing the filming in a Spanish class at OCC, so great job, guys. And they make documentaries that are really socially conscious focused. So she's been, or the team from there has been filming at the graduations and other different events that we've had, and they've gone to the Code Women meetings. So should be an interesting thing to watch once it comes out. We're also, one of our volunteers / interns, Marta, is doing kind of an internal audit focusing on what is microcode being successful in building a community feeling for for migrants and for refugees. So it'll be interesting to see the results of that. And then as always, we're working on getting more partners with companies, with NGOs, with other code schools. It's how we recruit students, it's how we find jobs for students, and it's how we just get the microcode name out there. So thank you for your attention. I tried to keep it brief. If you have any more questions, you can contact either me down at the bottom or Vincent. He's the program manager. And these are our social media handles, and you should all follow us. Thank you. How do I end this? Okay.
Thank you, Kayla. That was amazing. It's really, really good to get more information about microcode, one of OCC Barcelona's biggest projects, I guess, for the last few years. And now let's hear from Ali.
Hi everyone, and I'm a little bit nervous. And my name is Ali Raza Ashraf, and I'm from Pakistan. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. And so I'm going to speak about my experience and how OCC affected my life. So to tell that, I have to tell a little bit about my history. I mean, how I came up in Europe and how I came to know about OCC and Migra Code. I'm also a Migra Code student. So I came to Europe, Spain, 7 years ago. It's almost 7 years now. And I came here to support my family. I had the very first 3 years I had an issue to become a legal resident here in Spain, and you have to like spend 3 years to become a legal resident here, and when you are not a legal resident, you kind of face trouble about finding jobs and stuff like that. And the jobs you find, they're not like well paid, like you don't get much advantages, and it's kind of like illegal thing as well. So somehow like I spent those 3 years, and afterwards that when I became a legal resident, I moved to Barcelona. It's a big city, and to get better opportunities, you always have to go to bigger cities. So I moved to Barcelona, and I'm a mechanical engineer. I had my mechanical engineer education, so I was looking forward to find something to do in my field. But to be honest, like I'm not I don't find much interest in engineering thing, and so but I was looking for it, and for passing Barcelona is expensive, so I found a little bit job. I was looking for jobs to do, and one of my ex-boss, he buy a restaurant here, so I worked there as a waiter, and I find out that I love doing job in a restaurant, because I get to see like a lot of people. I get to meet a lot of people, and that was one of the reason I always wanted to move out of my country, so I can get to meet people out of meet to get different people, different nationality people, and I loved there. So I worked there for like a couple years, and I knew that like it's not permanent. I'm having fun, good time. Everyone was really nice there. It was in heart of Barcelona. It's in Plaza Catalunya, next to Plaza Catalunya. It was a Turkish restaurant. So my next chapter of my life changed when one of my friends, he was my class fellow. He came to Barcelona to visit me, and he's nowadays he's living in Netherlands. So he is a programmer, developer. So he told me about programming thing, and I found it interesting. And he told me about HTML, CSS. I would recommend everybody. It's really easy and it's really fun. And we interact on daily basis with those things. Like everybody of us have a mobile. We open web browsers like Google Chrome, Safari, etc. So getting to know about HTML, it's kind of like I don't know how to say it. Like it was really fascinating to know me how those web browser things worked, and that was my like I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. And I was looking for such. I mean, how can I do this? I can do this by myself at home, but it was a little bit difficult to do this by myself. So I was looking for boot camps, but it's really expensive here. and I can't afford like it's like cost like 7,000 euros and stuff like that. It's a lot of money to me when especially you're supporting your family. So I came to know about Migra Code in quarantine. I didn't have much time. Sorry, I had a lot of time. Sorry. So I was looking what's happening in Barcelona and about in programming field. I get to know about Migra Code, and that was really amazing. Like people here doing something, and for like people like me, those who want to move like in their life, they want to make their career, but they don't have such resources. And I was like, yeah, that's amazing. And I remember that it took me like 6 hours to write a motivation letter. I was I really wanted to be part of it. And it was just 1 page, 4 columns. It took me like 6 hours. I was reading again and again and again. And I sent it to Vincent, and he replied, and he gave me a course to do a little bit. So I did it. And then it was interview, and he talked to me, and he told me that like, dude, like it's just a formality. You have done a good. I mean, he gave me a little bit course to make a little bit website. So he's like, you done good job. You know basics, so you're a part of Migra Code. You're accepted. It was really big moment for me. And afterwards, I came to know about the Open Culture Center about. From Vincent that he told me that there is a volunteer position here if you are interested, and I was like, yeah, why not? I mean, I wanted to be part of this community who they are doing such noble job, and I want to be part of it. So I came to Open Culture Center. I get to meet Maria, and such a nice person. And I get to meet Mimi. I mean, she's our previous volunteer, so I felt comfortable. So I decided to move with OCC, and they provide a room as well. And so I moved here, and they're really nice people. I mean, a lady, she's managing, she's helping us to settle in here in the room. Thank you for her. She was really nice. And I have a roommate like Charlotte, best roommate, and and Raman and Angelo. Angelo is our technical guy. He's also supporting. His main part of job is to do with Migra Code, and he also helps us like technical things here in OCC as well. And really nice guy. And Raman. He's also a Migra Code student, and he is a really nice person. Unfortunately, he's not here, and it's really fun to be part of it. And then about my work, what I do I manage a social media account with Bertha, and past 2 weeks, Bertha is doing the most of the work because I'm a little bit having a hard time with my studies, and thank you for that, Bertha. And it's if I call my OCC team as a family, everybody is so supporting here. Everybody helped me about I had no idea about how to manage social media thing, but they helped me like kind of like how to say that, like they helped me with everything about and that's really nice of them. And I would and I got this chance, and I really want to thanks to everybody. And it's about the OCC is that, and about Migra Code. OCC is a mother organization of Migra Code. They're changing life here, and it changed my life, and I'm really thankful. And
we thank you, really.
You changed our life.
Yeah, and I felt so privileged, and I want to give back, and yeah, that's what I'm doing here. I'm trying at least, and I think that's it. And thank you for everybody.
Thank you, Ali. And you do an amazing job on the Instagram. We love your stories. Vale, so thanks everybody from OCC Barcelona and from OCC Polykastro. We're just gonna do a Q&A because we got some questions from Instagram, and then we're gonna show a video from OCC Greece. Which one shall I do first? I don't know. Which one? Oh yes. So we got one question, which was how has COVID affected your activities? So obviously Sophia mentioned that many of the projects have been affected, but maybe we can get a more like general answer from somebody. I don't know, maybe Maria from Barcelona or someone in Greece is probably.
So basically, some of the projects, the mini projects that are part of the activities here, they're not being implemented. This includes some trainings that are being done because we are working also in cooperation with other organizations. So some things being done by other organizations that are connected to basic subjects, basic topics like connected to asylum seekers. Then it's projects that are related to hygiene, because there are also some this kind of projects that are usually being done. And a very, very basic project of OCC that is not being implemented right now is the cafeteria. That is very, very important because in an informal way is bringing all the members of the local community together. And international one, of course. Then the other thing is that here in Greece, we, according to the law, we have to have a specific number of people per square feet. So per square foot. So this means that the number of the students that are participating in the language courses and other activities are much, much less. And to be honest, the need is very, very high, especially from people coming from the camp. We are right now doing double work. So instead of one course, we are doing the double because somehow we have to separate the people from one class, for example. But at the same time, we could do these two courses for much more people, but we're doing it for much, much less. Like, for example, one course can include only 9 students or 9 people with the teachers. And this is, the outcome of this is that basically it takes the opportunity of many people, especially from the camp, to participate in our activities.
Thank you, Sophia. I think I can give a brief answer as well for Barcelona. There's different regulations here. At the moment, it's just got more strict. These last couple of weeks, we've had to stop any people from coming to the center for activities. In September and October, we could still carry out some teaching with the unaccompanied minors, the refugee minors who came here to do Catalan and Spanish classes and cultural activities. We had to have all the protocols and take their temperature and make sure that there were no more than 6 people in a room. But we could still carry out some of these classes, but now it's we're not allowed to do that anymore. So we have kind of tried to move as many things as possible to online. But obviously for people who don't have access to internet, people who don't have computers and phones, it's not really possible. So yeah, it's definitely been impacted a lot. And obviously now we're doing webinars, which we've never done before. But yeah, I think that's mainly how activities have been impacted by COVID. But let's move to a different topic. We have other questions. Someone asked, how can we get involved as a volunteer, and what's the difference between ESC volunteering and normal volunteering?
Okay, I'll try to answer.
Okay.
I don't know if you can hear. I'm so sorry. We're sitting next to each other, so it's a bit good collaboration. Well, basically, ESC volunteering, it's a separate part of the projects that funded by the European Commission, where there are several requirements. So basically, sometimes it's different topic for different webinar, I think, but it's the person should be younger than 30 years old or 30 included. The person should be from the EU countries, or the person with few opportunities, depending on what the hosting organization puts in the project, and also having several, maybe depending on the position we would like to have this person for, having several skills, but also ESC covers accommodation, language classes, travel, different training courses, but also has some pocket money. I think some, mainly guys from OCC, they already know about it. But normal volunteering, it's we don't do it here in Barcelona. Mainly we do like local volunteering, where people come, support us for a few hours and then leave. But I think in OCC Polykastro, like the person who arrives and does volunteering that is not ESC, there is some also other criteria and requirements. I'm not sure about accommodation and other stuff, so maybe you guys can tell better. But in OCC Barcelona, we worked with local volunteers and ESC, which is funded by the European Union.
Yeah, basically, in OCC Greece, what we do for people that do not come with the European Solidarity Corps project is that either they have to pay some very, very small amount, at least for the house, because we provide house that has electricity, water, internet, everything. But it's a very, very small amount, but still they have to contribute something to this. However, it has happened also that sometimes some people that were very, very active in the activities, for sure they could stay for at least a small period of time for free, because they were or they are really contributing to what we're doing.
Thank you for answering that. We have one question, I think maybe for Didak, if he's still there. It's a question in the chat from Nadia, and she says, how did you find your way to working in both Greece and Barcelona?
Could you repeat the question again? Sorry.
Yeah, of course. It's how did you find your way to working in both Greece and Barcelona? So yeah.
How did I find my way to work in between in Greece and Barcelona?
As in, it started in Greece, and then how come it's also started working in Barcelona?
So it started in Greece, but when we had to register for paperwork to work in the other camps, the easier way for us was to register the organization in Barcelona, since I was from there and I didn't have any language barrier. And in Greece, bureaucracy is very slowly. So to act quickly, we said, okay, let's go to Barcelona, we register, and we come with some papers at least. But then when we arrive to the camps and we say, hi, we have papers now, let us do our work, we realized that we had lots of roadblocks since we were not a Greek organization. So then we decided to hire a lawyer and some consultants to register the organization also in Greece. So it was a Greek organization, and we didn't have that roadblocks or issues. So that's why we ended up with two legal bodies, one in Spain and one in Greece. But on the other hand, we also take advantage of being in two countries, and the fact that many volunteers were from Spain to actually do the field work in Greece, and then do some awareness raising and development education in Spain. So we actually went, and still go sometimes, not so much like before, but we went to many schools. We've done hundreds of workshops in schools with the book that Maria mentioned before, also in youth centers. So we were doing this kind of tandem or combination of fieldwork in Greece and awareness raising in Spain. Then indeed over time there were some challenges in Barcelona, Spain, on migration as well. So that's why also we increased the scope from not just awareness raising, but also to labor insertion, like Migra Code project, no, that Michaela explained, or other activities that we also do in Barcelona, which are not just awareness and raising. So yeah, that's why we end up in 2 countries, which is a bit challenging, but really useful, interesting, and there's very nice synergies.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Didak. That was a perfect answer. Another one is, would you consider working in more different locations in Greece? Because obviously at the beginning we're in Domeni and then set up in Polykastro. I guess maybe someone in Greece has an answer for that.
I mean, we've worked in different locations. We mentioned before, like Idomeni, Cherso, Sunio, and Polykastro now. But since 17, we just work in Polykastro, and it was at some point in our heads maybe to look for other locations, like maybe the islands or other areas in mainland. But the reality is that is more no. It's really challenging, and we are more probably shifting towards increasing quality and little than rather spreading around and lowering the quality of our activities. No, so I would say that no, indeed, any actions that we do, we like to do cooperation and partnerships with other organizations within Greece, in other regions, and outside Greece, and somehow look for this kind of multiplier effect, no, in doing these partnerships and sharing best practices and transferring knowledge, but not ourselves in other areas, but just through partners. So no, the answer is no. We are not looking at working in other areas in Greece.
Thank you, Didak. Okay, I think that was all the questions. There was one more, which is how can we support you during COVID? And I'm gonna put a link to the website where we have where you can make donations straight to OCC. We are super grateful, obviously, for any kind of support, and all the contributions go directly towards funding our projects. More questions as well in the chat. Yes, Ahmed is asking about what about being aged 30 when volunteering?
Up to 30 included, but if the person is with few opportunities, from our experience in OCC Barcelona, the person can be even older than 30. We had one volunteer who's exchanges with volunteers aspects from Central America to Barcelona. Okay, Luis, I mean, mainly we work with people from Central America, but through internships. So if you are considering as volunteering as ESC, where accommodation and travel included, here we would ask that at least the person should be a resident of the EU country. So unfortunately, the European Commission doesn't cover the projects we apply for to host volunteers from Central America, unfortunately.
Before finishing, I think we have a video to share from OCC Greece.
I woke up this morning, didn't recognize the man in the mirror. Then I laughed and I said, oh silly me, that's just me. Then I proceeded to brush some strange like some leaf come in the window of a restroom. I couldn't tell you what the hell it was supposed to mean, but it was a Monday, no Tuesday, no Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Then Saturday came around and I said, who's this stupid clown blocking the bathroom sink? Just like all I want is to just have fun, live my life like the son of a gun. I could be 1,000 miles away, but still mean what I say. Then I woke up one morning, didn't recognize the man in the mirror. Then I laughed and I said, oh silly me, that's just me. Then I proceeded to not comb some stranger's hair, never was my style. But I couldn't tell you what the hell it was supposed to mean, cause it was a Monday, no Tuesday, no Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then Saturday came around.
I suppose we're coming to the end of the webinar. I want to say thank you so much to everybody. Thank you to the video that Gidek mentioned is in the chat set. It worked well. Then if anybody is interested in getting involved with OCC, any kind of partnerships, volunteering, all sorts, obviously get in contact with us, either by email, directly via our website, on social media, etc. And yeah, I don't know, there's nothing to add. I want to say thank you to everyone. Maybe we can all wave together or something. I feel like it's really nice to be all together, talking to each other, even though it's such a weird screen situation. Thank you so much to everybody who gave presentations and spoke. We know it's really difficult to coordinate and have everybody online at the same time in different countries. We've had people from different parts of the world, so we're really grateful to everybody for joining us.